I enjoy coming to work every day knowing that clients are depending on me to guide them through whatever financial needs they have.
Every client we have is different. And so it's really about finding out what's really the most important thing per client.
With financial planning, everything is interconnected. So a comprehensive plan means that you're taking care of income needs now, income needs in the intermediate term, and income needs long term. We'll do an asset cycle portfolio. We'll do a risk-alize test. We'll do a life insurance audit or a life insurance review.
And so when we build a deep relationship with our clients, then we can take a step back and then we can look at different options to help them specifically get to their goals. One of the things I feel our job is as advisors is to introduce strategies to clients that maybe they did not know that they were out there. But it's our our job to come out and say, have you ever thought about this?
And the planning it's not always about income, but a lot of it is also about the legacy. So the element of family is very important to us, and it's important to our clients.
Hello, welcome to Financially Speaking with Jeff Bush. My name is Steve Jablonski, and I'm the host, and today another great show, Jeff, and in the financial planning process, before we determine what vehicles or financial instruments we use for our clients to reach their goals, we always ask a lot of questions to make sure we're right on target. So today, I'm going to ask you some questions about annuities and answers that clients should get before they know that this would be something to have them reach their goals. So with that said, Jeff.
Hello, Steve. Welcome to the show. It's great to be here today for another exciting episode of Financially Speaking. And annuities are such an important part of what we do in the process of our financial planning. And really, it's one of the most misunderstood financial products out there. And before we recommend them for our clients as part of the overall financial plan, we ask a lot of questions. We ask a series of questions to make sure that it's a good fit and that it's part of the overall plan.
And we'll start really with what would be the first question that we might ask to start determining, because it's like one of those things, if it's a yes, you can continue. If it's a no, then you check the box and you look for something else.
Yeah, well, typically an annuity is a long-term investment, right? So regardless of what your objective is, it's a long-term investment. So that question would be, what is your time horizon? Because if we're looking at a long-term time horizon, we can look at various annuity products that fit that bill. And I should mention, Steve, that at our firm we operate in an independent capacity, and the annuity world is very complex, and there's a lot of companies, a lot of insurance companies, and there's a lot of products. And in our role as an independent financial advisor, and we're of course operating under a fiduciary capacity, that really gives us the ability to go out into the marketplace and find out what is indeed the right fit for the client.
And we talk about time horizon. Annuities, they're a long-term investment, but there are cases when you can benefit from them, like say in a year. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, sure. I mean, there's a lot of bells and whistles or riders that you can put on to an annuity. I think the best example that I can give is a death benefit rider. Mm-hmm. And I remember I put a client into an annuity. This was a variable annuity back in 2001. Now, if we remember what happened in 2001, the stock market went down. So this particular variable annuity lost a lot of value in the 1 year that the client had the annuity. But there was a death benefit on there, and he died almost 1 year to the day that he bought it. And during that 1 year, he lost I think he lost over 10%. But when he died, since there was a death benefit rider on there, that loss was restored, much to the happiness of his widow. She did not know that.
Yep.
In fact, she was quite concerned that the market was down and that she had lost a lot of money. So she didn't really have the understanding of the product. But once I explained to her about this death benefit rider, and that the original amount was going to be restored. I mean, that was a case where the benefit really did pay off in 1 year.
And then if we determine the time frame is okay, and there's other assets that they could use in a shorter period of time, then we want to talk about what's the risk tolerance.
Yeah, well, I think relative, just kind of circle and roll back quickly to the time horizon. I think the one thing that we do as an element of our financial planning is the asset cycle portfolio. And with asset cycle, what we're doing is we're looking at various pockets of time in the life cycle of a financial plan. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll fund some of these longer term strategies with the annuities. When we talk about risk tolerance, that comes into play when we decide which type of annuity we're going to purchase, because a lot of it has to do with a client's ability to tolerate risk.
Yeah, and I know there are cases where if someone has $1 million, they don't want to see $999,000. So let's get into what couple types there are and what's the risk.
Yeah, so these
associated.
products have evolved quite a bit over the years. And if we're looking at deferred annuities, deferred means that it's going to pay something at some point in the future. We can look at, you break it down into two categories, fixed and variable. Okay. With a variable annuity, you have mutual fund-like investments inside of the annuity. So once we know what a client's risk tolerance is, we can structure the variable annuity according to their risk. So we can use an aggressive model, or we can use a moderate model, or we can use a conservative model. But we're purchasing mutual fund-like investments inside of this variable annuity policy. The other type of annuity would be a fixed annuity. And with a fixed annuity, you can either use a fixed interest rate, okay, or you can use an indexed rate. The index annuities have become popular for a couple of reasons. Number one, the interest rates are very low right now, and a lot of clients don't get too excited about purchasing a interest rate annuity where they're only making 1 or 2%, whereas an indexed annuity, you can have gains that are tied to an underlying index, most popular index being the S&P 500, but there's a lot of other index calculations out there that they seem to be sprouting up all over the place now. And of course, it's our job as independent financial fiduciaries to stay on top of all these products and all the features and all the bells and whistles, if you will, to make sure that we're recommending the proper annuity to the client. But really, with an indexed annuity, you're really protecting principal, and that's critical for clients that just really don't want to lose money.
Yeah. Well, good. So when we look at investment products, we also want to take into consideration someone's tax bracket. And I think in my 26 years in this business, I've never had more people come in and say, what can I do for taxes?
Yeah, I mean, taxes are a big factor with annuities, especially when you're dealing with money that's not in a IRA or in a qualified plan, right? Because if the money's in an IRA, you're already getting tax deferral. So if you're purchasing an annuity with an IRA, you're not doing it for the tax deferral, you're doing it for another reason.
Yep.
But if you're strictly looking for tax deferral, you know, your tax bracket's important because, you know, if you're comparing growth, and this is an important time to have this discussion, Steve, because a lot of people are doing their tax returns, and on these taxable investments, right? So let's say you have a brokerage account that's paying interest and dividends. Yep. That's all taxable, and capital gains. It's all taxable in the year that it happens. Comparing that to an annuity, all the interest and dividends is not taxable yet. It's tax deferred.
Yep.
So you can defer taxes. So I was talking to a young couple last night. They're in their early 30s, and they have good income, and they're looking at ways to save and invest. And we got into a discussion about annuities, and they already have an annuity that they can add to. And I talked to them about the benefits of adding to that annuity and the fact that they're in the highest tax bracket, and that when they are trying to save for retirement, and they've got a long time, right? They've got 30 plus years until they retire. That's 30 years of tax deferral. Yep. That they can get. So that's pretty powerful when you think about them being in a high tax bracket now, and if you believe that taxes are going to go up, the tax deferred element is really a powerful part and a powerful component of an annuity strategy.
And when we think about it, if you have a IRA or 401k, mostly an IRA, and you're getting the tax deferral, and you turn 72, the government says, okay, we need the money. So when you have in the non-qualified, you're getting tax deferral.
Yeah, so you're that's a good point. So with an IRA, you have that required minimum distribution at age 72. With a non-qualified deferred annuity, you don't have that. You don't have that requirement. So what happens then, so if it's money that you never intend to spend, then that tax liability is simply going to be passed on to your heirs, to your beneficiaries. So as an example, let's say you put $100,000. You're investing $100,000 of your money into a non-tax qualified deferred annuity. And that annuity grows to $150,000. So you have $50,000 of gains in there, and you die. So what happens is you have a beneficiary listed on there. So let's say it's going to your children, right? So when your children inherit that $150,000, they're not only going to inherit the money, they're going to inherit the tax liability as well, okay? So they're going to inherit that $50,000 tax liability. So they're going to be left to pay the taxes on that. So that's a whole other discussion on how they want to receive that money, how they want to take distribution, when they want to pay their taxes. But oftentimes, you're transferring money into somebody that could be in a lower tax bracket, right? So let's say, in this example, let's say the father was very successful, had a lot of income, was in a high tax bracket, and then this money goes down to their children who maybe aren't in as high of a tax bracket. You could be, really spreading that tax liability out. Not only that, if you have multiple beneficiaries, let's say he had 4 kids, that $150,000 gets spread out among the 4 children. So all 4 of them would share in a smaller piece of that tax bite. So that could, the way our taxes are structured with a graduated bracket, it could be taxes that are paid in a lower bracket. Could be.
And so when we talk about planning and we find out where our clients are today, and then a lot of what we do is the future. What are their goals? What have they done? What do they want to accomplish? So, what are clients' worries or goals about the future?
Yeah. And really, an annuity is really a future-based product when you think about it, because it's really longevity insurance. It's insurance against longevity, and it's insurance against risk, right? So if you have a rider that pays you an income benefit, for example, it may pay you an income benefit that's guaranteed for life. So one of your concerns about the future may be living a long time and running out of money. So if you have an annuity that's paying you a benefit, a living benefit, it's going to be something that you're never going to outlive. That's going to be guaranteed for life. The other part of this discussion is you can buy an immediate annuity, which that's really what a pension is, even though they don't call it that. That's really what your Social Security benefit is, even though they don't call it that. With an immediate annuity, you're getting a payment that's, if you have a lifetime payout on immediate annuity, it's paying you for life, right? So there's various options that you can select with an immediate annuity, but it's really a good way to cover a lot of your risk going forward, because you know that those annuity payments are guaranteed. And what that can allow you to do is, with other parts of your portfolio, with other parts of your plan, now you can look at risk differently, because you know now that you have a stream of annuity that's guaranteed.
And also, these are good fits when we sit with a potential client and we do the planning and we figure out that they've won the game. And I love the conversation and the ease of someone, the client is saying, you have enough.
Yeah.
What's that look like?
Yeah, and really a lot of our job is telling our clients that they have won the game.
Yeah.
And what you mean by that when you say that you've won the game meaning that you're never going to run out of money. You're going to have enough money if you're smart about what you're doing here. So you don't want to take any undue risk with your portfolio, and you want to build in certain guarantees. And if you do that, with reasonable certainty that you're not going to run out of money, and you've then in fact have won the game.
And we never know. When the market went down in 2000, it took 12, 13 years for it to get back up to, really where it was. And
yeah, and I think that's when the popularity of indexed annuities really took off, because when we look at the bubble or the correction or whatever you want to call it back in 2000, 9/11 was in there also, where the market really corrected significantly, and then again in 2008. I think it caused consumers and financial advisors alike, caused them to look at really these products differently. And a lot of these indexing annuities became popular because now we found a way to have some level of participation in the market, the stock market, and at the same time guarantee your principal, preserve your principal. Because the way those products work is you have some level of participation in the market, whether it's with a cap or with a spread or with a participation rate, and maybe that's a conversation for another show. But if you have an indexed annuity that's tied to, those features, you can preserve capital. And again, with other parts of your portfolio, you can address risk in a different way.
So when we move on to a married couple and we plan for a great retirement, but we also plan when something happens to one of them and they go before the other. And let's talk a little bit about Social Security, not in so much in depth, but what happens there, and then how could that tie into planning with an annuity?
Yeah, well, that's a critical time of a financial plan, because what happens upon death is, you look at your sources of income. So, for example, you have Social Security, and one of those benefits is going to go away, right? You're going to lose the smaller Social Security
that
benefit.
can almost be a 50% decline.
Could be, depending on if you have two Social Security benefits that are close in value. So husband and wife, you have one, let's say the husband dies, and let's say he had the larger Social Security benefit, then his larger benefit will go to his wife, and the wife then will lose her benefit. So that's one thing. And then, sometimes pension options are the same thing. You might lose some or all of your pension upon the first death. So with respect to annuities, there's a couple things that you can do. You can put on a joint lifetime income rider. And what a joint lifetime income rider does is it says, okay, together we're going to pay this amount, this income amount, and it's guaranteed for both lives. So that gives a lot of, sometimes when we're meeting with a married couple, that gives them a lot of security, like, oh, we don't have to worry about this. They might put a big IRA account in there that's, the bulk of their savings or part of their savings, and say, okay, with this, we know with certainty we're going to get guaranteed income that's going to cover both of our lives. We never have to worry about it. In that case, the secondary goal would be the death benefit that might go to the children. What they're really trying to do is maximize income for their lifetime, okay? The other thing that you can do with an annuity is you can put a death benefit rider on there. And I talked about that a little bit earlier in the show. You can put just the basic death benefit on there, or you might have some sort of enhanced death benefit, whether it's tied to an interest rate or you're locking in market gains or whatever it may be. There's a death benefit rider on there, so that in that case, the death benefit goes to the spouse upon the first death, okay? And these features are important, Steve, in particular when there's no life insurance there, right? So you might have a case where one of the spouses is just not insurable, or maybe you just choose not to have life insurance. So the annuity then takes the place of that, and it's able to provide for the family when death occurs, either in the form of the income, the lifetime income that extends over the second life, or a death benefit rider.
Now, I know we touched on living benefits. Is there anything that you want to add more about the living benefit portion?
The living benefits are really critical to almost any type of annuity, deferred annuity, whether it's a index annuity, whether it's fixed rate, whether it's variable, because the living benefit is going to be what's going to generate the income. And what we have found is clients are not allowed, or they can take on, they can assume more market risk in a annuity product where they know they've got the income guaranteed. And that is proven out through several of the market declines that we've been through over our careers. Where the markets dip down, clients still know their income's guaranteed, so they don't panic. They don't push the panic button. Whereas if you don't have that, we have found that clients get a little more nervous about market volatility when they know that there's not, that safety net in there, that level of guarantee. That's so important. So that's really the strength I feel of the living benefit. And there's a lot of different types of living benefits or living benefits that can go up every year. If the market you can lock in market gains and that kind of thing. And some of those products have done very well recently when, we've enjoyed, great gains in the stock market. And at the same time, when the market retreats, their value doesn't go down. So, the living benefit, I think, is, and I'd say for the most part, when we're doing planning for clients that involve annuities, we're going to put a living benefit on there.
And I believe in my career, annuities have grown tremendously because there's no longer a three-legged stool.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, when you think about the pension that was there, in our father's retirement, this is no longer your father's retirement. Now, consumers have to take control of their own retirement. And the way they do that is by, if you don't have a pension, you try to simulate one with your investments. And a lot of times you're simulating that with an annuity, with a living benefit.
The three-legged stool was Social Security, pension, and investments.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
it's
and those are, the pension is not as great. And, I think Social Security is going to be less of a factor too, especially with today's worker. They're, changing jobs more and more, and, that pool of money is going to be shrinking. So, well, Steve, we're wrapping up another exciting show of Financially Speaking, and I think we covered a lot of ground here with respect to annuities. So we would just encourage our listeners, our viewers, if you want information, just you can go out onto our website and contact us. We'll put our phone number and our email up on the screen, and feel free to reach out to us if you have more questions about annuities and how they fit into an overall financial plan. So with all that being said, this is Financially Speaking, and we'll see you next time.